1,000 startups to grow. We invested in more than 100 companies in a seed round. We created 11 accelerators, but we failed at creating the measuring process and the calculating the effectiveness of our activities. So this is why I'm especially interested in your presentations, in your activities and your experience at that field. And let me briefly present the agenda, because at 11:15 we're going to have a coffee break and another part of networking session. Then, after several presentations, we are head to Google Campus, which is the facility devoted to startups. And you will have a unique opportunity to walk through Ząbkowska Street, which is a very special street in Warsaw, very old one and very climatic. It survived the Second World War, and it has changed very slightly from this time. So this is a very unique street. I love it. So I hope you will admire it too. Then we'll come back here at 2 p.m. for lunch. And after 3:30, we'll head to sightseeing tour to see the magnificent city of Warsaw. And after 6:30, we'll have a supper. And after that, we're going to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Center of Entrepreneurship Smolna, which is a part of, which is the city incubator. Now, we are the Center of Creativity Targowa, which was opened just recently to help business connected with art, business connected with computer games, to grow, to develop themselves, and to be better and better. And let me now welcome the host of today's evening, today's event. Not but evening also evening. But today's event, Pani Katarzyna Włodek-Makos, Director of Economic Development of City of Warsaw.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Warsaw. It's a great pleasure that you accept our invitation, and we are really happy that you are here with us. Welcome everybody on our 4th interregional thematic seminar in Speed Up project. And during our 2 days seminar, we are going to identify best practices of entrepreneurship support in the theme development of monitoring system within the incubators with key performance indicator about the incubators. This is really complicated, I have to say, so I need my paper. I was wondering from today who invented this subject, and Janek told me that, oh, that's you, so we have to talk about it. Okay, so first of all, I would like to ask the question, have you ever been to Warsaw? Any of you? No, you are. I'm not counting you. So 2 of you. Okay. So I would like to talk a little bit about our city, which is very modern, beautiful, and vibrant. And so the majority of you, it's the first time, but 2 of you, I think, I don't know when you were here, but the city has changed. And this is not the same city as 10 years ago. As I said, it's a very modern with new infrastructure, with very open-minded and hard-working people. And Warsaw, we have a vision, and this vision is very clear. We, last month, the City Council submitted our strategy, Warsaw 2030, and we have 3 goals, and this is very simple. The first goal is active resident, the second is open metropolis, and the third one is friendly place. And by saying active resident, we mean that every citizen, every Warsawian have a say here. So what we are doing, especially when we created some new projects, so every single project, before we start, we do the consultation process. Another example of that is the participatory budget. So during the last 4 years, we decided to do project with citizens, which citizens vote for them. It was 1,000 project, and we spent more than 200 million zlotys. It's more than 50 million euro for that. By saying open metropolis, we think that we would like to be an open city, a tolerant city for everybody. And active, the last but not least, the friendly place. So Our ambition is to have a compact city, a city when within 15 minutes you can work, you can live, and you can learn. So coming back to our place here, as Michał said, we are here in center of Creativity Targowa. Is the second incubator which city run. I have the pleasure to run those places. The first one, the Center of Entrepreneurship Smolna, which today we are going to celebrate the 5th anniversary, and you are more than welcome to join our party in the evening. And the third one is under construction, is near here. It's like, 5 minutes walk. And the third place will be a makerspace. So we decided as the city to run such places to support entrepreneurship, to support startups. But this is not the only one. And as Michał mentioned, he has been running one of the very, very important and big incubator in Warsaw. We have also the Google campus, which you are going to see in few hours. We are a home for places like Startberry, like Mindspace, like Brain Embassy, very, very, very modern co-working places. And all these places, we are cooperating with them, and we creating the ecosystem for startups. So I just would like to encourage you to visit our city. In the afternoon, you are going to have a tour with a guide, and I hope that you love it. I also would like to say that we are happy to have you here, to learn from you, to learn from your experience, and I think it will be very, very helpful in the future. And now I would like to invite you to see our film, which presents Warsaw as a smart city. So enjoy this stay in Warsaw, and I hope that we have the opportunity to talk in the evening on our party. So thank you very much.
Over 10 million people visit Warsaw every year. The city center can be easily and comfortably reached within 20 minutes from the airport using the Mobilet app. Bicycles are very popular means of transportation in Warsaw, and Veturillo renting system gives you access to 480 kilometers of bike lanes. A great way of getting from one end of the city to the other is cycling along the left bank of the Vistula River, while visiting the mini bars and museums along the way. There are almost 360 free hotspots all over Warsaw. Respect and regard for nature is one of Warsaw's most unique features. 40% of the city is covered by green space with 80 parks, 220 public gardens, and over 8,000 hectares of forest preserves. Warsaw's urban open space is managed and maintained with great care given to the city residents and their needs. This is one of the reasons why anyone may plant a tree in our town. Thanks to the Million Trees app, we have planted almost 300,000 trees. City Contact Center Warsaw 19115 is a modern, multi-channel point of communication with residents. The first project on such a large scale in Poland and one of the biggest in Europe. A dedicated team of 70 consultants is available to residents every day. The Warsaw 19115 service is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, offers several different channels, a mobile app, the 19115 call center, and portal. Residents can report problems like water leaks, potholes, broken park benches, or overflowing gutters. They can also present their opinions, ideas, and suggestions about the functioning of the city. Water supplied by Warsaw Distribution Networks is drinkable, and modern treatment plants ensure its high quality and great taste. City Safety Center is the police and municipal guard cooperation hub. It gives them access to sophisticated information systems and video feeds. The center also receives and processes calls from the European 112 emergency number. If you want to cross the Vistula River, you can take an electric bus or a modern tram, or the underground, whose second line runs partially under the riverbed. Residents of Warsaw are in charge of how their tax money is spent. Thanks to this participatory budget, over 1,000 municipal initiatives have been completed. Outdoor gyms, bike trails, safe pedestrian crossings, and playgrounds are among the favorites that are selected most often. Targowa Creativity Center is one of the creativity sector investments. It supports entrepreneurship, which, in turn, fuels Warsaw's economic growth. No wonder that, together with London and Sydney, Warsaw finds its place among the top 10 startup cities. This is Warsaw, a smart city.
So this is Warsaw. You are going to see it in the evening, and I apologize. I have to come because I have to prepare for another celebration. So see you in the evening.
Thank you very much and goodbye. See you. I need to say, I feel a little bit more proud from my city by now. And I'd like to add to this that you have maybe more better perspective of what Warsaw is today. And in this perspective, we will try to present the best practices that we have here in Warsaw to present how the ecosystem of supporting startups and business in general is developing here. And maybe I haven't told you the most important thing by now, which is Wi-Fi password. If you found the network Centrum Kreatywności, then the password is Warszawa 2016. That is here. Maybe you can find it and help yourself. As Ms. Director said, we have here in Warsaw a lot of co-working spaces, and today we're gonna see one of them, and tomorrow you will visit. I present the agenda for tomorrow at the end of the day, but I can say that you will be presented the National Stadium, which is a home for the biggest co-working space in Warsaw, which is Business Link. And then you will have an opportunity to see how the playground is organized at the nearest game. But now we're going to focus once more at the topic of entrepreneurship, and I will like to invite at the speech indicators evaluating of the impact of incubators and competence centers activities, Albino Caporale.
Hello everybody, my name is not Albino Caporale. I will make the presentation for him, yeah. It's okay. I will use it from here.
Probably this one. Okay, this is one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Where it has to be pointed. Okay. So let's start first of all presenting some of the problems we have had in the last, let's say, more than 10 years in Tuscany concerning the business incubators. During the last 10 years, there has been, let's say, a quite perfect storm. We have had institutional reorganization and the new discipline of public companies and public participation, which has been accompanied by the crisis of the public finance and as well the crisis of the most important incubators. This due more to managerial and structural factors that have resulted in a substantial reduction of the initial plans on the infrastructures of these incubators. So this has also provoked as a consequence some phenomena like the abandonment of public shareholdings in the share capital of the incubators, the emergence of private incubators having much greater efficiency with respect to the public ones, and of course operating with completely different cultures and ratio with respect to the public incubators. And then the emergence of new ways, alternative ways of managing spaces in favor of startups. So co-working, startup houses, phenomena that are quite common to many European cities. In this context, the policy objectives of the Tuscany region have been those to encourage a greater contamination between public and private operators, promote a link with the large companies in the area, support directly startups, and increase the revenues of incubators from the qualified services. So in this sense, the policy has evolved along the years, and we have started from the elaboration of specific indicators related more to the size and minimum functions of the incubators, then passing to the reorientation of the public regional resources in favor of the companies that are located, so of the startups that are located in the incubators, rather than financing directly the incubators. And then in the third phase, and we are still here, the introduction of performance-related mechanism with a view to reduce the public financing in case of, the objectives of incubators are not the expected ones. Very briefly, I mean, which was the evolution and about the potential for learning. During these years, what we have learned is that the public intervention needs to be connected to indicators, to performance indicators, in order to allow also a better remodulation of the regional policies. Another takeaway from this experience has been that we have preferred to support directly startups and companies to purchase their services, the qualified services, on the market, rather than these services being offered by the incubators. And of course, the direct involvement of public institutions in the share capital of the business incubators, rather than the provision of loans or financial resources. There's a list of incubators that I have, of indicators about business incubators that I have sent to all of you, and just to very briefly to mention the source of these lists. We have two decrees from the Ministry of Economic Development. One is about guidelines, criteria, and indicators necessary for the certification of technology transfer centers related to Industry 4.0. And then another decree from the same ministry defining the requirements for the innovative startups incubators. And then there is also a decree, recent decree of Tuscany region defining the general requirements for business incubators and startup houses, together with a list of qualified services that can be offered to startups. Yeah, this is my intervention. If you have any question.
Any questions? I've got one. You said that there are a lot of indicators and factors that can determine a good startup incubator. And can you name a few of them?
Sure. Of course, there is, for what it concerns the decree of the Tuscany region, there is a list of services, of qualified services that startups can purchase in the incubators or on the market. This list is missing on the other decrees. So this list of qualified services is missing on the other decrees. So I think this is a good example on how to orient the activities of incubators now in the provision of services directly to the startups.
I consider the startup market as very rapidly growing, and are you sure that defining the generals and the principles of the incubators should be determined by the decree, or maybe it should be determined by the market?
Now we are speaking here about the public intervention, the public financing and public policies. Of course, the public policies has to be based on some indicators in order to provide financing to, because most of our incubators are public, or the public institution have a share on.
So this is limited only to the public one, yes?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Policy or any country or any region would favor this specific strategy over another one. And so that's going to even affect or have an impact even in the private sector too. But so that's just good. The strategy is necessary to define regional environment, regional strategy.
I don't question that, but I'm thinking that there are a lot of services that are provided more rapidly, that the different decree can be created, because the law is introduced very slowly, because it has to be rather considered and think through several times. And several years ago, nobody here in Poland thought about the law that should determine the blockchain sector, and now it is rather something new. And the blockchain accelerators are created more and more often, but there is not law to determine that. Okay, if there is no questions, so thank you very much. And I will, of course, another presentation from our Polish participant, Adrian Migoń, and Catalyst for Business Development, Youth Business Poland. slide?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Adrian Migoń. I am the CEO at Youth Business Poland and Foundation Incubator Technologic. And today I would like to tell you more about our organization, how we support entrepreneurship and startups, and something more about evaluation and measure our KPIs, how we do this. Our organization is Youth Business Poland. It is a program which support young entrepreneurship around Poland. We work in Poland, mainly in Warsaw, but also we have a lot of mentors in another biggest city in Poland. Also, we are part of Youth Business International. It is an organization which supports entrepreneurship in 52 countries around the world, and we build international network of organizations supporting young entrepreneurship. In our network, we associate 20,000 of mentors. So one of the strengths our supporting to entrepreneurs is mentoring support because each mentor are volunteers, so they give their time for free to support entrepreneurship. And last year, in 2017, we helped open 80,000 companies around the world. That means that in each half hour, one company is open in our community. So it's a huge scale. Okay. How we work? As I mentioned, we build the mentoring base. In Poland we have 100 mentors, but in another country like Canada, then we have 4,000 mentors. In India we have 5,000 mentors. So it's a big scale. The second thing is it's training and workshop. That is second thing, and also we provide acceleration project that is which compare mixed training with startup methodology, with lean startup methodology, design thinking, and selling, marketing, and scale business. And also we help startups and young entrepreneurs to have access to capital. We mainly work with the people between 18 and 35 years, but some of the project we work with people with another people, and we work with three area with innovations. With people which are underserved, that they have problem to find the job or they looking some new business opportunity, and with social enterprise. Okay, now we work with the city of Warsaw, and in the next room here we work with the Fintech Startups, and in this room we have 20 startups which work with our trainers to help them develop their business model and business idea, but from fintech and insurtech area. Last year in Poland we helped open the 105 businesses. We create 160 new jobs. In our training participate 850 participants, and we organize 120 hours of mentoring. 1,200, yes. And this is our KPI. Yes. So when we talk with sponsors, with public sector, we always try to say, okay, you will be a sponsor of our project, and we help open this company. So we create 100 company. It is our partner, so we work with JP Morgan, with this is the Polish Economic Bank, public, Accenture, PwC, with BGŻ, BNP Paribas, and with the this is the insure company, National Netherlands, and a lot of another partners. And today I would like to tell you more about one of our projects. It is a catalyst for the business development. In Polish its name Katalizator rozwoju firmy, very easy to pronounce. And it is acceleration project, compare 6-month training and 6 workshop for startups and young entrepreneurs. And in this project, we organized this project last year in 2017, and in Catalyst of Business Development take part 25 participants. This is the structure, our project. So at the beginning we provide promotion and recruitation, our project, and always we try to go to the university and promote our project and work provide workshop for students, or it is the open workshop, and we promote our project in social media, Facebook, AdWords, and in online community. And we recruit 25 persons, and this is the group people, and we work with this group. At the beginning we provide inauguration event, and first workshop is about creating a vision themselves and their company. So we always try to ask our entrepreneurs, what do you think, where you want to be in the next 5 or 10 years, because they very often they don't know and they don't think about this. And after that, when they create the vision themselves and their company, we work and talk with them about the business, how looks your business model, how looks your business idea, and we create with them business model canvas. After that, we have to workshop business model and lean startup methodology, and we try to work with our startups and teach them how they can prototype their business, their idea, not invest at the beginning a lot of money in their business, but try and check if this business have sense. And I can talk about the lean startup methodology 1 hour, but we have only I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. And when they have business model and they prototype or they test this business with their client or customer, they pitch, and then we teach them how to provide better marketing and how to selling their business. So this is the part when we talk with them about the scaling their business. Okay, and we have 2 phases this project. The first phase is initial phase, so it's 3 months, and they must build the business model and test this business model. And here they have in the same time individual meeting with mentoring. All this project lasts 6 months. So the first 3 or 4 meetings with the mentor is initial meeting. They check if the matching is okay, if they have a good relationship, and they talk about the goal, about what they would like to do together. And after that, we have the main phase, and we talk about the scaling this business. And with mentor, they also work to scale their business. Okay. Oh, and this project was our, I think, 5 or 6 edition of of catalyst for business development, and we work with PwC, and CVC Capital Partners is one of the biggest private equity. Here we talk about the 25 participants of this project, and 60 participants of project, they register their business. So at the beginning we measure if they have opened the business or not, and 25% they don't have registration their business, but they open. This all company which take part in our project, they create 33 new jobs, new workplace for another person. Some of our startups, they obtain 1,500,000 zlotys. So it's like 1 zloty is 1 euro is 4 zloty, yeah. So it's 400,000 euros, something like that. But in Poland, 1.5 million is like I don't know, in Germany 1.5 million euro. Yeah. So you can buy more for this amount. Okay. 100% of participant was satisfied from taking part in this project. And also we develop a lot of competence this person, and we measure this competence, but I don't know if we have time to talk more about the competence. We evaluate every training which we provide, because we have feedback that this training is okay, its competence, our trainer is okay. At the beginning our project, we provide general evaluation, and we measure what is the needs, what is the competence, our participants. And at the end project, we measure how this competence is changed and how they develop themselves. And also we, at the beginning, we measure if they have company, if they selling or not, and at the end we compare this data, and we have some report. Okay, that 60% they 16% open their business. Okay. Also, we measure mentoring if the process of mentoring is succeed, and we measure 2 times the mentoring at the beginning of process. So David Clutterbeck, he is one of the guru of mentoring. He is an international professor of mentoring, and he provides some science that. When you give the mentors for startup or for another person, you should measure very fast if this relationship is okay. So we try to measure during the after free meeting, because then you have time to change the mentor or contact with mentor or with mentee and talk about their relationship. Okay, and at the end we measure the KPIs of relationship with mentor, how it looks, and how this relationship with mentor help to develop their business. Very fast, I give you 3 examples our startups. The first is Dr. Barbara. Is a startup of mobile health, which was created in response to the growing epidemic of civilization. And it is a social startup, and she helps people feel better, and she provides some analysis in your mobile phone. You can connect your application with the laboratory. And she have AI, and this application help you to eat better things and have better habits for your healthy. And when she come to our Accelerate project, her incomes was 30,000 zlotys, so I think it's salary for 2-3 person, something like that. And she won of award. It was 40,000 zlotys, and she invests in their application. And after a couple months, she generate incomes like 1.7 million, and now she from June to July, yeah. So it's 100 times more. So it's not typical situation in our Accelerate program, but yeah. Could you repeat one more time?
How much money, how much funding did she get in?
Only 40,000 zlotys. It was award, and she invests because she don't have investor at the beginning, and she needs some money to change some in their application. And with our trainer with Bartek Janowicz, he is a very good lean startup trader. He makes some pivot in the startups, and he changed the business model a little. So now she talked with the Arabic country, and she developed their application there. Solace, it is the very small house, and this house have only 48 meters. The cost of this house is 40,000 euro. You need only 2 days to build this house. And last week they won the competition start of Mazovia, and they won 30,000 zlotys. And what is interesting that this house is plus energetic. So after a couple years they selling more energy that they need for them. So it's very interesting, and this is prototype now, and they build the first house, and they have 100 person which want to buy this house. And for them it is very important, this social mission, that to help people which don't have money to buy flat or big house, they can buy this small house. And the Plantalux, it is a startup from east of Poland. The east in Poland is less development, and now our government invests a lot of money in East Poland. And this is a family business, and 2 brothers and their father. They create something like lamp, which the latest generation of chip of the board, then work with Japanese. And what is interesting that this lamp is help to reduce the cost of production in energy by 3 times. So they are the best than Philips or Osram or another company, and they have patent. Okay, they have patent, and during our project they obtain 800,000 zlotys, and last week they find investor which he invest 1,500,000 zlotys. Yeah, so it's very interesting startup. This is some photo from our project. We try to always have good time and fun when we organize our project, and I think it's everything. So maybe you have any question? Okay.
Wait a minute, please.
Do the startups get everything for free?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we obtain funding from the business, from the like sponsoring or business sector, and also we work with public sector, with City City of Warsaw and other partners and sponsors. So they don't pay for this.
And is there their participation in the startup? No, they own their entire business at the end of the program?
Could you repeat one more time? Mm-hmm.
Do the sponsors participate in the business? Do they own stocks in the business?
No.
Yeah?
It's free equity. Yes, so they engage them because they want to have contact with startups. They want to support young entrepreneurship. Very often is their corporate social responsibility mission. So we make all this fundraising and prepare CSR report and etc. But sometimes some startup start to cooperate with business, yeah, because corporations now in Poland, I think around the world, they look in cooperation with startup, yeah, because they are innovate.
Good morning. How many people are involved in the activities from recruiting to the end of the each edition? And if you can, how much it costs? Because I understand that some of them works for free, and other, I suppose.
But people from our team or?
Yes, from the staff that.
In our team we have 4
yes,
persons.
Yes.
Yes, so it's not a lot. We have 5 trainers, and we pay trainers for training. Yeah, and we have 100 mentors, and they work for free because it's their mission, and they are very happy that they can be a mentor. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, then thank you very much.
Thank you.
The question was, do they get this for free? The problem is, maybe not the problem, maybe this is the good aspect of the ecosystem in Warsaw, that there are plenty of opportunities that are paid by public money or private money from the companies. So we can help our startups without forcing them to pay. Maybe they wouldn't be eager to pay for this kind of services. But now, let me introduce.
But I know there is a difference between free and cost zero. This is not free.
Of course, this is not free. This is paid by the or administration or corporations.
But I mean, it's not free at all for the companies. Because I would say cost zero, because we have another person, other people who are doing a voluntary work also, and also even the companies themselves, even though they don't pay money, I'm sure they have to dedicate a lot of time to their projects and everything.
But I'd say that for the company, it is quite of an investment. Because once they want to be innovative, they need to acquire technology, acquire innovations, and they are very often they are unable to create them by themselves. So this is why they need to cooperate with startups. Let me introduce another speaker. Assessment of the Brandenburg Startup Support Program, from counting the input to the measurement of impact. Dr. Volker Offerman.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the invitation to share some of our experience. We made now around about 15 years in fostering self-employment. This is our country. It's in the east of Germany and near to the Polish border. And I'm from the Labor Ministry. It's untypical. If we talk about self-employment, what is the Labor Ministry doing in this field? It's more a field of the Ministry for Economic Affairs usually. But when we started in 2001, fostering self-employment, we had an unemployment rate around about 20% in Brandenburg. And this was the initiative to bring alternatives to unemployment. Today the situation is completely changed. In May this year we had an unemployment rate from 6.2% the lowest district rate was 4%. And so we're not talking about an alternative to unemployment, now we're more talking an alternative to other directed employment. The self-employment rate in Brandenburg is a little higher than in Germany overall, and this is a good situation for us. We started to build up a network of counseling service all over our country. We had a general counseling service in each district, and we have target group specific services for young people, migrants and innovative entrepreneurs, and we are fostering self-employment at every AGI. This is financed by ESF. In this fund period, we are investing around about 36 million euros in this system. And ESF is also, I will show you it later, the basis for our indicator system. And if you see that we can create around about 1,000 new businesses every year, that is 10% of all new business founded in Brandenburg per year. Each of the counseling service has a core that is an identical process with 3 phases. It's initial consultation, where we test the founder's personality, where we test the business idea, and if it's good, the participants pass to the qualification phase, beginning with a development center and individual coaching. And every counseling service is networking with the chambers of commerce and the chambers of crafts and the public employment services. And we have indicators to every phase. So in the initial phase, and we have it on the project level and we have it on the program level. And we have always input, output, and outcome. And in the initial phase on the program level, we don't have any input indicators. We use financial input evaluating the performance. I come to this later. And very relevant is the number of participants, and also on the, you see it here on the outcome, on the project level, the participants who were advised against self-employment. This is basically for our program at every stage to tell the people, do no business on your own if you're not really tough. And so we are also looking for alternative careers if self-employment is no really alternative for these people. And we have also a lot of indicators in the qualification phase. Very relevant for us is the number of qualified participants, because this is the basis for the birth rate, and the birth rate is a core indicator for the success of our program. And every counseling service has an indicator which is to fulfill during the program runtime. For the regional services, it is 60% of qualified participants. The service for migrants is 50%, and for young people 40%. At the AGIs, we don't have a given percentage in the birth rate, because at the AGIs sensitization is a big theme, and so the AGIs have individual birth rates. networking. Here we have indicator which is called number of participants with grants from PES, from Public Employment Services. Is very relevant for us, and it is a quality indicator in between, because in 2016 58% and in 2017 68% of all founders who were supported by the Public Employment Services were qualified by us. Due to the ESF monitoring, we have participants' data on a lot of situations: sex, unemployment, age, education, migration, background, disability, and life in rural areas. And after this, we try to measure the performance of our program. And here you see on efficiency the input indicator, invested amount per foundation. I mentioned it above. And we also try to evaluate the sustainability, and the core indicator here is the share of startups on market after 1 year. It's 85% at the moment. And the last indicator is a range, I mentioned it, 10% of all our founders, of all founders in Brandenburg, are qualified by the support program. Some years ago, we had an evaluation, a counterfactual evaluation on the performance of our program, and the first group was participants in the support program, and the second group was founders similar to this group but without support, and the result was that the founders supported by the Brandenburg support program had a higher sustainability on market, more employees, higher sales, and an increasing income over time. But we have also overarching objectives. It's not only to build up a business. What we want is to develop entrepreneurial culture, entrepreneurial mindset. We want to increase employment and competitiveness. We want to increase the number of innovative startups. We want to have effect on the labor market. And we want, this is typically for a rural country, the retain of know-how and qualified professionals. And for this, we need other indicators. We need impact indicators. And impact indicators, you know all how to find them. They must be easily available. They must be reliable in a statistical sense. They might not be too complex. And we need them on the regional level and on the local level. And so official statistics can deliver this in a lot of fields. But we are looking for a system of impact indicator which is nearer to the process. Here are very many intervening variables, and we're looking more for a system that comes nearer to the direct impact of our activities. And I don't know, perhaps you can help me. It's a database with data from the companies we supported the right way to come here. I'm very interested in this, and I hope we get some answers in the next 2 days. Thank you.
Any questions? I've got one. You said that sometimes you advise not to set up a business to a person who is not ready for it. How do you react?
We try to leave them not alone with this experience to be advised not to build up a business. We're looking for alternative career plans so that the people can get successful employment elsewhere.
But you concentrate more on the person, on the personality, on the characters, or on the business idea?
Both.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now I've got two. And the last presentation before the coffee break. Cluster Open Innovation, Fabian Vara Sanchez.
It's working? Yeah. Well, very good morning. First, say it's a pleasure to be here and to tell you about what we do in relation with entrepreneurship. Obviously, thanks Manuel Montoya, who has facilitated us being here. First of all, let me tell you about what we are, because that will give you a hint about why we are engaging in entrepreneurship, because we are not an incubator, we are not an accelerator. We come more at that later stage, as the previous presentation from Brandenburg showed about the networking. But to understand that, let me tell you about what we are. We are a public-private partnership in the form of a private foundation that works on a similar way to the JTI. By that I mean that we get member fees, and we complement that with money coming from public administration, regional public administration, that give us a common pot that we use for funding research and innovation activities. Okay, and our three stakeholders are the ones you can see on the screen. First of all, the public administration. Second, the 9 universities that we have in Andalusia, the south of Spain. And lastly, a cluster of established companies, to date formed by 159 member companies. What do we do for these three stakeholders? First of all, for the public administration, we help them to achieve an economy that is based on innovation, and therefore is a competitive economy. For the university, what we facilitate is for them to do a research and innovation that is aligned with the needs of our companies, from the companies we have in our region. And last but not least, the major focus of our activities towards our member companies. This cluster is a multi-sector cluster formed by 159 companies that develop R&D activities in the south of Spain. What we do is provide a number of services, mainly focused on facilitating their R&D activities, from creation of projects, from getting the partners to develop them, from getting funding for those projects, and not only our own funds, as I mentioned before, but also getting other funds, both from the regional, national, and European government. Therefore, to show it as a summary, basically what we do is promote R&D and innovation within the companies, always with the view with having knowledge transfer and cooperation among companies. Therefore, that's why now we are going to be talking about some similar way of an open innovation concept, because it's in our DNA, the collaboration, the transfer of knowledge, and a relationship with companies creating synergies. The good practice I'm going to tell you about, we finally added the reverse cluster open innovation. Is an open innovation concept, but is focused not only in a single company, but in a cluster, and as I mentioned, in a multi-sector cluster. Okay, and the way to call it also reverse is that instead of the companies going to the market and trying to collaborate with startups, the startups through us are the ones that get in contact with the companies. This is another way to show what we do. As I mentioned before, with the relationship we have with our 159 member companies, we know very well what their business model is, what their technology areas are, what their market share and the market activities are, and therefore we understand what their needs are. And we start promoting among them that concept of open innovation. The second phase is relating with getting in contact with startups, and to do that we don't only do it hourly. We basically do it through the entities like you that get in contact and support entrepreneurs. Okay, these come from corporate incubation programs, accelerators both in the private sector and at the university level, and also a member or a certain number of entities that are within the public sectors. Okay, like for example the scientific and technological parks, the accelerators, promoters, the local administration, and so on. With that relationship with these promoters of startups, then we get to know and we get in contact with the startups. Okay, and it's very important that for you to understand that we only focus in technology-based entrepreneurship. Okay, we don't focus on any other types. For us, technology has to be in the DNA of a startup, and research and innovation activities have to be carried out or have to be considered in the near future. Once we have identified these companies, and once we have analyzed what they do, we kind of filter them and we identify those that are in a position to be of an interest to our member companies. If the company is already market fit, we go straight to the next phase. If the startup is not a market fit, we can support them, and that's the similar thing that we might be doing with some of the previous presentations and some of you here. We help them to be market fit. To do that, we analyze their business plan, and we improve it. We support the strengthening of their business model, and also we can facilitate them getting either public or private funds to support their initial activities before we get to the next phase. Once these startups are market fit, as we call what we would consider market fit, then we get them in contact with our member companies. But it's not a general contact. It's a very detailed and very concrete contact. Okay, it's company with a startup. It's not a general thing. Then is the member company that decides whether they want to continue collaborating, whether they want to get any agreement, or whether they want to support their R&D activities. If that's the case, we get to the next phase, which is the sponsorship of research and innovation activities of these startups within CTA as a private foundation. So basically, what we do is what our member companies do is transfer their rights within CTA to the startup they have decided to collaborate with. Okay? At that moment, what we do, as I mentioned before, we facilitate anything that has to do with their research and innovation activities. So just to wrap up very quickly, as I said, first understanding what our company's needs are. Secondly, identifying through other entities what the most promising and interesting startups that carry out research and innovation activities are. Doing a very deep analysis about their activities and a market, I would say, a matching between what the startups are and what our member companies do, and if they are market fit enough, get them in contact so they can decide what model of collaboration they want to achieve. If that's supporting the research and innovation activities, then is when we do the final fifth phase. That's it, so very simple. Thank you. If there is any question?
Hi, hello. I'm Magdalena Biciem from Startup Poland. I would like to ask about the collaboration basically between startups and academia. So do you have any specific regulatory background that enabled the thriving of this cooperation? I understand that there is a specific, that there've been a maturity of this collaboration in time.
You are specifically asking about startups collaborating with the university.
Yes.
Okay. Well, basically in Andalusia we have what we call the PIDE, which is very difficult to translate, but is a structure that sets up any research group within the universities. Okay, so there is a structure to define, identify, and for them to work with any company, whether it's in a startups or whether it's an established company. Okay, so when a startup needs the capabilities from the academia, what we do, and that's our role, is to identify which research groups are the most interesting for that collaboration. And the same way we do with the company, we would do it with the research groups. We get them together and they start to define what their collaboration model might be. Okay.
One more question.
Sure.
Then, if there is a startup that has been, let's say, or an idea for a spin-off that has been born within the university, what is the regulatory framework, let's say, or like a law issued, which enables the IP to be taken away from the academic center to business?
Okay, that's something we don't do, but I know how it works, so I'll tell you. Okay, from my point of view, it's not part of our job, but basically within Spain, not only in the south of Spain, there is a law that regulates that. Okay, basically, if I remember correctly, don't take it as definitive answer. Any professor, for example, might have a part of a spin-off, but up to a maximum of 10%. Okay. If they want to have more than 10%, they need to get for different route. That route is having the approval from the university, and then the university itself has to be part of the spin-off.
Okay, so that owns stakes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can give you an example because I have participated in some of these transmission of the businesses, like for example, research group in the biotechnology sector, and they have this intellectual property. They were from the university, and so they had an American university interested to buy their IP. And so when I got in the middle of the agreement of the negotiation, so part of the negotiation was actually the public government, the regional government, because they are part owners of that IP, because they have been supporting us. So when we sold it, they got their share, like any other partner, and the researchers got their share. Actually, the main share was from the public government.
Thank you very much. I will find you after the meeting,
I'll be
and
here
it was
today and
perfect.
tomorrow,
That's very
so
interesting for us
more
as
than
well.
welcome to talk to any of you about it. There was another question thing there?
It was IP related as
Right.
well, so
Okay, fine. Okay.
I'm wondering about the for me, the key and what makes a lot of differences is these 159 companies. They are very strong, large companies. They are members of your cluster. Can you give us just an example of the profile of these companies?
Okay, we started with 40 companies, and those were 40 major, very established companies that they are not only national but even international, like the major energy companies in Spain, like Endesa, Iberdrola, Gas Natural. We also have some banks that support our activity, and those are some of the major promoters of this process, because what they want is to support small companies becoming big. But also we have a lot of SMEs. Okay, about 2/3 of our member companies are SMEs, and a small fraction of them, I will say about 10%, are startups or spin-offs that became big enough to be established and get within this cluster. Okay. Yep.
Did I get it correctly that universities also pays, they pay for the participation in your activities?
Not really. I mean, the ones that pay the member fees are the companies. Okay. But the member fees are complemented by some public money. This public money does not come straight from universities, okay, but depending, because that money doesn't come in the same time and in the same process as the member companies do. It varies. So that comes from a public budget, and sometimes that public budget has had or has come from part of funds that were for universities.
Okay.
Okay, so they don't do it directly, but sometimes they lose a little fraction of their budget that goes to us from a different way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
If not, let me just say one thing. For you to have a measure of our activity, we don't know how many companies we have had contact with, but we have got in phase 2 to 217 companies. We have been carrying out this activity about 2 or 3 years. Okay, and of those 217, 46 have achieved phase 5. Okay, so about 1 in every 4 of the companies that we have analyzed have got in contact with the established company, and the established company has decided to support their research and innovation activities. So I think it's a good number, a sensible outcome of this activity.
When your organization was established?
Well, our organization was established at the end of 2005, beginning of 2006. Okay, so we have been working for 12, 13 years. But this activity we started about 2 or 3 years ago. Okay.
Any other questions? Maybe you have questions to the previous speakers. If not, then you're welcome to have your coffee. Quite okay? Who is quite okay? Quite okay. Who is very okay? Who is exhausted? Nobody. Fine. I'll ask this question after this session and maybe the percentage will change. To sum up, before I ask my friend Łukasz to conduct his speech, I'd like to say that we had an opportunity to hear and listen to several presentations before, and in each of them we've seen the metrics and the factors that are measured inside their incubation process. It is difficult to measure these factors, but it is good to have it because it's easier to persuade stakeholders to invest in this kind of activities. So maybe now it's good time for me to invite Łukasz Stern from, give me please the list. The official name is Center for Innovation and Technology Transfer Monitoring of Indicators.
Hello. My name is Łukasz Stern and I work in Warsaw University of Technology. I'm managing the innovation incubator over there. Perhaps I will start with one slide about the university. We are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, technical university in the region. We have more than about 50 fields of study conducted in 90 faculties. There's more than about 37,000 students in our university. University decided to start the program to creating the spin-offs about in the year 2013. Right now there is about 20 university spin-offs already in the market, and some of them is some of the next spin-offs are already in the phase of preparation. Every year there is more than 500 research projects going on at the university, but also we are very proud with another number that's not in the slide, but we have also more than 100 every year 100 student research students' own research project conducted at the university. This is very different than this 500 research project because this 100 students projects, research projects are defined by the students and conducted by the students with the help of the academia worker, the professors. So, can I ask you one question? If there's any of you representing the university-based incubator or university-based innovation center? One. So, as probably we are not, you will agree, we are not so different than any other kind of incubator or innovation center, but still we have some specifics. The first one is that there is a lot of people are coming to our center, to our employees, and they have their needs. Their needs are very, very different. Some of their needs from the researchers is to conduct the patent path, to create spin-offs. Some of the people coming to us are they have their own idea. They are students, but they are not. The idea is not connected directly with the curriculum, with the research they are doing. This is something else. They are define some problems, and they have their idea. But we have also the people outside of the university coming to us, and they are asking if the university can help them with some kind of project, with some kind of innovation and so on. So probably the scene of our clients, of our stakeholders, is that from the backside everyone looks very similar, but when we come to closer, everyone is very, very different. Everyone has different needs. They have different they have different background, but they have different goals to achieve and so on. And we had a big problem to discuss with them about that in the similar way with everyone. We decided that we need to have a tool to ask to conduct the first conversation, yeah, and because everyone, okay, and so we need to we decided that we need to think and have the tool that will give us the good answer, the first answer about what is your innovation. If the innovation is a breakthrough research project, or if the innovation is just a new business model in the market that is already structured, and we just figure out that there is a tool already used by everyone in academia world. It's called technology readiness level. I'm not sure if you heard about TRL. Is a scale with nine steps from that the technology is only in the head of the researcher, and this is the first step, and in the ninth step is that technology is already in the market and is working and is commercialized. Yeah. So we decided to create something similar, but the technology readiness level would be our one of the scope that we measure during the first conversation. We decided that we will talk with our clients in no less than four sectors. Obszary? Let's say sectors. So technology, of course, because a lot of the people coming to us are researchers and they are coming with the technology. We are using the TRL scale, and this is the scale that is already known. We are using we decided that most of our clients are coming with the something that will, in the end of the path, they will be selling something, yeah. So they need to define the customer and the market, yeah. We decided that we will need to define if the team, if the person is coming with a team, and how the team is structured. IPR. So if the research, if the thing that are coming to the center is ready, if it can be patented or in other way protected, yeah. Of course, funding, but sometimes we have also people who are coming with the idea of manufacturing, not only services but also manufacturing. So we are talking about how the team, how the idea is ready to be manufactured in the end. So, and we have about 40 questions that give us the answer about and give us the opportunity to measure, to define what is the level of the readiness in those questions. I can ask you perhaps one question. there was two students came to us with the idea, and there was also the idea of the big professor who came to us with the business idea. Those are different business idea, and if you just shoot which one of those 6 graphs are from the students and which one is from the big name professor. Okay, maybe the question wasn't clear. Okay, is clear? This one. This one was the 2 guys. They were very good with the idea, with the technology they came with the customer market. They were incredibly good with the customer market. They knew what to sell, who to sell to, and what the competitors are, and so on. And they were very good with the IPR. Of course, the team not so well, and funding, they were in the first steps of the path to create the startup. No, the professor is over there. He came to us. He came to us with the. I have something. It's very. It's incredible. It's already solved, and we can do anything with that. Yeah, and we started to ask him questions about the market, who will sell, what the competitors are, and what is the technology. And in the end, he was so angry with us because he came as a big person. He came with the idea that with the idea of himself that he's invisible, niepokonany. Nie, to jest niewidzialny. Invincible, yeah. And we started to ask him a question, and then he knew that he cannot answer the questions, and that the path for him to sell this technology, to make it market ready, is very long. So when we have this first conversation, we can decide what kind of help the person or the team what kind of help is needed. Yeah, we can help with the pre-incubation program. So it's a very first step. Everyone can join. Is a program that just lets you answer the question if the startup is a good fit for you. Is the product is a good fit for your next few months. Then we have acceleration. Is the program? This program is for the people who already know that they want to build a startup, and they want to create a new company. Or in the end, we have also incubation program. This is a program for already existing new technology intensive companies, because we have, as you can see, we are willing to invite the people for the programs different in the different programs. So in the pre-incubation, we invite everyone. Everyone is invited, no matter what kind of idea, no matter what kind of business model are you willing to create. This is you can join our seminars, our programs, our different activities. In the acceleration, we are looking for more technology-based teams. So we are not. This acceleration is a very. We are choosing who we will ask to join, or who we will invite to join. And the incubation program is only for the technology-based startups, technology intensive. So the technology must be in the business model, and the technology is a very, very important thing for us. For example, as a pre-incubation, I'm sorry for the Polish slide, but the whole business model canvas, you can see the pre-incubation activity is 9 weeks. Every week you can talk with us about different spectrum of the business model canvas. We gather about 6 teams every half year to bring them to move them with their own business model canvas. Or it's sometimes there are people from just the students that want to get to know the business model canvas as a model, but sometimes there are also people with their own idea, business idea. They want to create the business model. Acceleration, for example, we are right now. We have the project financed by from region and European Union, and we, as you can see, right now there is a fourth edition going on. Each edition is not it's not a very big amount of teams. It's not a big number, yeah. But all of them are technology. Some of them are university based. And incubation. Right now we have seven companies at the incubator. As you can see, we are as an ecosystem in Warsaw. You already heard about SOLAS, which was in the program of Youth Business Poland. But right now they are all our tenant. All of them are university based in somehow. Some of them, some of the companies are. We have one spin-off university. So in this company, Warsaw University of Technology has their own share. We have, for example, this one and this one. Those are companies created by the researchers with the PhD, and the rest of the companies are created by the students or young graduates of the university. And how we measure? So every 6 months we have a little talk with our tenants about those five subjects. How our IPR is going on? If there are any new patents, new ways to protect their own products. What are going on with the R&D activities? Are there any new projects? If they reach the milestones we were talking about in last conversation, last evaluation. For example, this is a very important thing for us, because we are trying to give the opportunity to our incubator, our tenant to create an R&D project with the university. So this is very important to identify the potential of R&D project in the companies and create the project with the university researchers. HR, this is. I'm not sure if this is not the most important factor to define if the company is developing. For example, we have we have one of our company last June. There were 2 researchers coming to us to talk about the company, about the idea, about the business they are willing to do. Right now there are 13 persons in the company, so they grow they grow is so fast, and we are very very pleased that they are our tenants. Sales, of course. So if they are selling already, some of our companies are not selling. Some of them are growing the sales. Right now, we didn't have the decreasing of the sales factor. Of course, readiness for the investment. We are doing every year. We have a demo day in our incubator, so every company can look for the investment. We are willing to help them with the negotiation with the VC or other funds. Okay, that will be that. My name is Łukasz Stern. If you have any other questions, I can answer them right now.
Do you have questions? There is one.
Do I need to? I want to ask, like, how much effort are you really putting into the pre-incubation activities? Like, if you like compare that with
Pre-incubation program is a very in the middle. Okay, all of them are in the middle of our goal to be inside the university, because incubator we are responsible to move entrepreneurial side of the university forward. Yeah, so those activities with the pre-incubation, they are focused to give the students the opportunity to think about them as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. So we are putting a lot of effort. We are not measure them with the success factor. Our success factor is to have a lot of students, a lot of people from the academia involved in the pre-incubation activities. The success factor you are talking about is more we are looking for that in the incubation program. So in the incubation we are looking for the companies which are strong with the market fit. But in the pre-incubation, everyone can join, and we are not very strict with the success factor. I'm not sure if I answered your question. Uh-huh. I would say it would be like 50%, or yeah. This is a huge. This is a very difficult task to have the recruitment process doing well. So we need to use a lot of different kind of information channels to get to the students, to get them know about our activities. So it would take an effort to invite a suitable group to those activities.
I've got another question, because you said that there are milestones that you agree to set in front of the startups at the level of incubation. What if they fail to achieve these milestones, do you expel them from your program, or you help them to achieve them, or what if they're not
don't.
successful enough?
Okay, so we have one of the companies we have in the agreement of the between university and the company to be a incubator tenant. The milestones are the factor that not achieving the milestones is the reason that we can say, okay, you are not developing as fast as we decided, so we will say a goodbye to us. But for now, it's not the case. In the case of other companies, those milestones are just the factor that that can give us the opportunity to define what specific needs of the companies are, and we will try to bring the services to them. So, to be specific, in one case, yes, we can expel from the incubation program one of the companies if they are not, if they will not meet the milestones. In other cases, those are only the indicators that we need to give them another kind of support. Yeah.
Okay, and another question: have you encountered problems to persuade PhDs to present their works, present their R&Ds in front of larger public? Or because in my experience, there are some universities in Poland, in Warsaw, that scientific workers are afraid to present their works because they are told to concentrate mostly on new books, new articles, on conferences, not on patents, not on cooperations with business, because this is not what science should be. Do you see the same problem at your university?
We have the comfort to work with the scale. There's a lot of different researchers at the university, so we have a comfort to work with the people who want to work with us. So we are not persuading the PhDs and the professors to show, because when we are asking who want to show, there are some people who want to show, and we decided that the success stories will be the best, but also investment, but also invitations. Yeah. So if we will have a lot of different success story with the spin-offs, with the startups, with the PhD who gain another round of financing, we will bring the next one to our activities.
Okay. Thank you very much. Other questions? So, thank you very much once again. And now, Reactor Warsaw, Effectiveness of Incubation Services, Diana Koziarska.
Thanks. Actually, I had a bit different title in my presentation. Can I have a clicker?
You change it, sorry.
I guess it's not up to me. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Diana and I'm the CEO of Reactor Warsaw, and it's a place for startups to work, collaborate and network. And at Reactor, we believe that the community is a key for a business, and it's because if you are a part of the community, well, the more people you know, the more can help you. The more people can test your product, become your first testers, give you feedback, or tell you what went wrong in different businesses. And we all know that there are many bonuses to being a part of community, but the question is how to create a well-functioning one. And I think we managed to do that at Reactor, and Reactor is one of the oldest initiatives supporting startups in Warsaw. And actually, my favorite thing about the startup community here is that everyone is really eager to help each other. And we have many people coming to us and saying that they appreciate what we do at Reactor and that they also want to become engaged in the community. So we are a typical startup villa, not like modern co-working space, with a startup garage. And we have started as a co-working space. There were just a few startups who were looking to rent a space together, and they started to support each other. And then they noticed a need to share ideas, experience, and get feedback. So we started organizing Open Reactor events. And basically, they are the opportunity to share a series of short talks and then network over pizza and beer, creating connections in the ecosystem. Yeah, when I say pizza and beer, people start to smile. Yeah, but it's really well, making connections, and people are starting to get to know each other and share what they know. And we believe that as we share what we know in the ecosystem, the whole community can grow better and faster together. And then we get some startups who became more experienced, they grew and got funded. And then they started organizing Reactor open office hours. So the less experienced startups could come and ask any questions and get help. And by that time, Reactor became one of the best-known startup communities in Poland. And we started to think, what can we do to better help the startup community and to better engage them? And we noticed that there are a lot of opportunities for startups, for well-developed startups. There are accelerators, there are funding opportunities. But there's not much going on for idea stage startups. So we decided to start pre-acceleration program, Reactor X. And it's quite a fresh program. We started the first batch in January 2017, and we are currently on our third batch. And basically, we focused on professionals, of people who know their industries, the problems they face, and the required innovations. But what they lack is a business knowledge, and we try to help them by organizing a series of workshops, lectures, and mentoring sessions, and of course it ends with a demo night. But how do we know that what we do is effective for our community? So, like everyone, we gathered some values and throw them into the Excel sheet. And as for our Open Reactor events, we've been organizing them for 7 years, once a month. There have been 65 of them, like around 100 people coming to each of the events. So it gives us 6,500 visits in total for those 7 years. And there are not, as at the beginning, there were not many startup events when we started. So it helped us to gain the popularity. But as now, there are many, many, many more things happening for startups. So we have to still keep on working for people coming to us. And we have people coming also, like companies, corporations, investors, and they are also willing to pay to reach to our community so we can spread the word about them. And it's useful because, for example, we have beer sponsor and pizza sponsor is a legal office, which has legal offers for the startups. And we spread the word about them to the community. And also it helps us to keep the events free for everyone to join. And sometimes, usually as the speakers, we have startup founders and people from the ecosystem, but sometimes we invite influencers like successful entrepreneurs. We had one time co-founder of electronics art, or recently we had Polish friendly startup politician. And they come to us because they see the value in speaking to the startup community. And also it's a good use for us because it's a good marketing, so we can reach new people to join us. Like that. We have also a garden, so it's informal atmosphere at the event. And this is one of the best Polish politicians, I hope so. Okay, so as for our pre-acceleration, we have another table. And we measure things like we have number of mentors and applicants to the program, startups in the program, and how many of them are still alive, and how many got funded, how many partners we have, like corporations, and demo night attendees, recommendations from our participants and from mentors, and press coverage. And I'm sure we all measure similar things, and you're more interested in our actual numbers. So we had over 50 mentors on board. Like we have successful entrepreneurs from Poland, but not only. we had corporate representatives or VCs. And we had, in all 3 batches, we had over 10 startups applying per one spot in the program. We organized 2 batches a year, each lasting 10 weeks. And we had 33 startups in the program, 23 in the previous 2 batches, and 10 are currently in the program. And actually, the funny thing happened in our previous batch because we had, instead of dropping dead startups, we managed to multiply them because we had a workshop, a soft workshop, on how to cooperate with others. And after this workshop, there were 2 founders who decided that they don't communicate well with each other, and they stayed in the program, but as 2 separate startups developing similar things, furnitures. So, and 24 startups are still alive, and from the previous batch, 5 raised funding. Also, the money is important because we have to reach to people who are beneficial for our startups. So we had investors, corporate representatives, influencers, and we try to keep active relations with them because it's important for our startups, and also we got them engaged to mentor in our pre-acceleration program. And also we keep relations with the press because it's good when we recruit to a new batch, and it's good for our startups to have press coverage and to gain exposure from the community. And actually we don't have many startups in our program, and we only have like 10 in a batch. But we make the program really personal, and we have really close relations with them, and they know that we care. We are all the way with them. And we keep in touch with our previous participants. We gather feedback from them, and the testimonials we use as a marketing also, which is useful for us. But as everyone, we want to also improve along the way. So we have done extensive research of all the best accelerators in the world, like Y Combinator, and we have gathered all good practices from them, and we learn from that. But most important is the feedback from our participants, because we ask them about each workshop, each lecture, each mentoring session, and do a really extensive survey after the program. And they know that they help us to shape the program for the next generations. And we ask them if they were satisfied with the program and if they would recommend this to others on the same stage. And they said yes. I hope they weren't lying. Okay, so we know all that the final effects of the acceleration is the new companies. But what we also focus on is more knowledge which stays in the ecosystem, but not only from the successful founders, but also from those who have failed, but because it's also something useful for us to know. And important thing is that as people feel the impact of Reactor and of our community, as they learn and become more experienced, they also want to come back and give something back to the community. So our mentees come back and become mentors. So to sum up, Reactor is a co-working space, but we also help people share the knowledge at open Reactor events, and we train entrepreneurs in our pre-acceleration Reactor X. But everything we do, all of what we do, is because of the community we have. Oh, and actually, I haven't had one thing in our presentation, but I think we are one of the few organizations here, and we are totally privately funded, and we don't have any public money. So I think that's one of the also important factors. And the startups actually pay to be in the program, and we take 2% shares of their equity. So they know that as they finish the program, we are still in contact with them, and we still care for them to grow. Okay, thank you.
Questions? Maybe I'll start, because you said that 33 startups finished your badges.
Are currently 23 finished and 10 are
Okay,
currently
it means that you will possess the shares in 33 companies minus those that died.
Yes.
Do you have an idea how to manage these shares?
Well, to be honest, we are not really counting that we will have a lot of these shares because it's pre-acceleration. So we know most of the startups on the stage are dying. So the shares are for us more to create a relationship with the startups. So they know that we have shares, so we care, and we are still engaged with our graduates. So it's more like psychological thing.
Okay, so you're not hoping to sell it for millions?
Well, of course we do, but you know, after a few years.
Okay. Another questions?
Related to this question, I'm curious to know whether you have had any exits and whether...
Well, we are quite fresh, so this is a third batch, and we started last year, so, well, they don't grow fast enough.
Okay,
so,
but
no.
then I didn't understand correctly. You said you had been working for 6 years?
For 7 years, yes, but we were organizing events, mentoring
Right.
sessions, and we have been facilitating the community around us.
Okay.
But pre-acceleration is a new thing for us.
Right, thank you.
Why? Well, at first, my personal or my companies. Well, we started as a non-profit organization which was focused on helping the community, so it was quite idealistic. We are changing a bit that right now, also because we also need to make money as a company. But our main goal is to support the community, because also our founders of the reactor, they were all startups. And actually this is the best thing in the startup community here, because everyone wants to help each other, and people come back and they want to share, and it doesn't matter how big the companies are, but they still want to come back and, you know, help those on a basic level. So we are just making this happen.
Another question? Wait a minute, please.
So you say the program is funded privately. So
Yes.
who's behind it? Who's behind the funds?
We have a few companies, like corporates or smaller companies, which are paying to be a partner of the program, and we help them to spread the word about them with the startups. So, for example, there was a Polish publishing house, Nowa Era, and they are a edutech company. Also, they were interested in edutech startups. So, because we have a leading mentor for each startup in the program, and the mentor from the edutech from this publishing house, they were mentoring the edutech company, and they have access to these companies of their profiles. And also the startups have to pay to be in the program, so it's also something to...
So who's on the board of directors then?
We have only 3 people at Reactor. We are quite small company, so it's the 3 people in, you can see in the photo somewhere here. So it's me, there is Boris is the founder of the Reactor. He has sold his startup a few years back, and now he's managing the Europe sector of USA company, and Agata is also working with us. Yeah. So there's not much people behind that.
Thank you very much. Now there's time for Florence, University of Florence Incubator, Innovation Ecosystems, Positioning Activities, and KPIs, Emanuele Turcini.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the Speed Up team and for the Municipality of Florence for inviting me here today. Now I'll share with you some tips about our business incubator. The University of Florence Business Incubator has been active since 2010, precisely on December, and is a structure devoted to disseminate and spread entrepreneurial skills and entrepreneurial culture among the university environment, and support the birth and the first phase growth of our innovative startups or spin-offs. This structure is managed by Xavier, that is the University of Florence Technology Transfer Offices. Today I'll focus on our entrepreneurship education program and their KPIs and monitoring systems. These programs are managed both by youth and by the Foundation for the Research Innovation, that is the structure for, this is my structure, The foundation is another important player on the territory, promoted by the University of Florence, the Metropolitan City of Florence, and the Foundation Cassa di Risparmio di Firenze. We can say that the foundation and youth are complementary or their own activities. These structures are both involved in our metropolitan innovation ecosystem that sustains our territory in terms of economic and social growth and development, improving on the territory many activities and initiatives. In which are involved many micro ecosystems. Here you can see an example of many of the most important micro ecosystems within our metropolitan territory. We start obviously from youth, my structure, that is a public and generalistic business incubator. Nana Bianca, that is an private accelerator focused on digital innovation. Impact Hub, that is a worldwide brand of co-working that provides services as co-working, Fab Lab, and so on. And MIP, Murate Idea Park, that is the Municipality of Florence business incubator. Also, this is a generalistic one. As you can see from this slide, our metropolitan ecosystem of innovation covers many of the most important areas related to an innovation process. We have activities such as incubation, co-working, acceleration, and we are specialized on digital innovation, social innovation, technological innovation, and so on. Now I'll focus on our entrepreneurship education programs. These are 3 different level entrepreneurship education programs. Why? At 3 different levels? Because we have 3 different types of target, starting from the early students of the university with the entrepreneurship gym and arriving to the pre-incubation where are engaged professor, researcher, and so on. The entrepreneurship gym is a soft skills education program. It's organized as a 2-day workshop where a facilitator, a coach, works with the students coming from the university on the idea generation, but principally about the build of soft skills and cross competencies. He uses design thinking and Lego serious play methodology. About some data, we have organized until the pilot project has been started in 2012, and until today we have organized 70 labs with 600 people involved, and most of them are under 30s. About Impresa Campus Unifi, it's an entrepreneurship education program whose goals are related to spread and disseminate entrepreneurial culture, build cross competencies, and works on the validation of business ideas coming from the students of the University of Florence. As you can see here the target compared to entrepreneurship gym is higher. We refer to neograduates, graduates, PhDs, researcher fellows, and so on. In this case, it's not a 2-day workshop, but it's a 4-month-long training and mentoring program. About some data, we have organized 6 calls for ideas with 131 applications, 64 projects admitted, and almost 200 people, young students involved. Okay, here we have our KPIs. As you can see, the conversion rate about Impresa Campus it's quite low, but for us it's not a trouble because in this project we are more focused on the spreading of and the dissemination of entrepreneurial culture and cross competencies. For us it's not a problem if at the end of the program we don't create so many startups. In fact, we have created only 6 startups. For example, one of them has closed because the 4 shareholders each of them to find a work. So for me, this is a success because probably the competencies built inside the program help them to find the work. One of these startups turned into a spin-off, and we have a quite high survival rate with 70%. The pre-incubation has been started in 2010. It's the most important program for our university. It's a 12-month-long training and mentoring program, and this is a program that aims at finalize a complete technology transfer processes, starting from the ideas coming out from labs, the researcher group or department of the university, and bringing them to the market as a product or a service. In these 8 years, we have organized 15 calls with 142 projects, 760 people involved, more of them are young. About KPIs, in this case we have, for me, a quite high conversion rate because we have funded almost 50 startups. 10 of them are hosted in incubation. We have a pretty good survival rate with the 85%. For me, that means that on our territory there is space for innovative products or services, and the 65% of them are registered as innovative startups. Okay. In the previous slide, you saw what we have achieved so far. Now I want to share with you what we are working for in this moment. We want to improve our monitoring system. For doing that, we are thinking that the best way is to construct new and other KPIs and to bring them inside our monitoring system. For example, for us it will be important to know how many startups attend to business plan competition or matching days, or calculate the IRL, investment readiness level. In this year we have changed our training method, introducing the Lean Startup method, and this is maybe one year that we have introduced this methodology, so we are waiting for the first results in terms of conversion in spin-offs. About our monitoring system, we have a database called Team2Spin that collects all the data about the pre-incubation program. We start from the data of the groups inside the program pre-incubation, and we collect also all the information of the history of this of that groups. For example, from the pre-incubation to the transformation into a spin-off or a startup. Both with the Team2Spin, we have another 2 methods of monitoring and for spin-off. Twice a year, we organize 2 mentoring meetings in which startups can talk about the problem with the business model, market approach, and so on. And we have a control about the financial of the startups. Before closing my presentation, I want to show you another 2 strategic projects down the chain on our metropolitan ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, that are Hubble Acceleration Program and Faber project. These are an accelerator financed from the Cassa di Risparmio di Firenze. On May has been started the 3rd batch, and until today we have funded, we have financed 8 startups with a grant of 50,000 euros. This is a digital accelerator program. Faber project is a project that aims to bring innovation into the small and medium enterprises among our territory. we give the opportunity to these companies with a grant of 21,000 euros to hire a high-level profile that will bring innovation inside the processes of these companies in terms of new product or services. Also, this project is entirely financed by the Foundation Cassa di Risparmio di Firenze. I finished. Thank you for the attention. If you have any questions, I'm here. Thank you.
Questions? Any questions?
You got a question for me?
Of course.
Obviously.
Because you said, you presented before that you give a grant of more or less 50,000 euro. What are the requirements to be granted with this money?
Okay. The principle requires is that the startups granted need to be strongly digital, strongly innovators inside digital landscape. We have as partner in this program Nana Bianca, that is the most important player on our territory on the digital innovation. And for this, in the main times, is Nana Bianca that choose how startups to be funded.
Mm-hmm. And second question is about the survival rate, because you declared that you've got 70% of survival rate.
85%. 70% is for Impresa Campus startups.
Okay, 85%.
For incubation is 85%.
In which period of time?
8 years.
8 years?
Because the 50 startups are all the startups created from 2010.
And more of 85% of them are alive.
Yes.
Very good.
Alive don't means that they are they are growing, but they are alive.
They're not died. They haven't died yet. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the last presentation before Q&A session is start in at KBC. Bea Clearen. Sorry for misspelling of your surname.
It's no problem.
Bea Clearen.
Okay. Thank you.
Here's the shooter. Yeah.
Okay. So hello, last one before a break. So best spot to be in. So I'm here to talk about Started at KBC. So unlike most of the programs we've talked about today, we're not situated in one city or one place. We're actually situated in Flanders. We are a non-profit organization, and below you can see our founding partners, which are all in our board of directors. So what do? We build unusual businesses together with our startups. This is a little story about what we're doing. It's easier to show it than to tell you, but I kind of get the feeling that it doesn't work. Let's see. No. Okay, so basically it was a short cartoon on what we do, which is actually incubate, accelerate our startups. What do we offer? Well, first of all, we offer a program of a year and more. We're not that strict. We offer free office space on 6 locations in Belgium and beyond. I'll show you in a while. We have a lot of workshops which our startups can attend for free. We have the largest ecosystem of Belgium on entrepreneurship, so they get access to that ecosystem by joining us. They get connected to our partner, like Accenture, like Kronos, like IMEC, and partners like that, KBC, of course, and other corporates. They also join our membership to Global Accelerator Network, and we offer them a lot of events. So what does the program look like? So after selection, they get in. They need to pitch for us to convince us that they belong within Started. And after they get in, there's a kickoff in which we celebrate that they got in, and we tell them what's going to happen. First thing is boot camp. That's 1 week after their kickoff, and they actually get 2 days of workshops, of events, of everything they need to get a kickstart. During those 2 days, we actually sit down with them and set out a roadmap for the first 3 months, which is our acceleration program. So after those 3 months, they can get in front of a board, and they can explain what they have been doing in those first 3 months, what progress they have made. But it is more or less a combination between a boardroom and an advisory board. So they can actually, if they have any problems or they don't know what to do about something, they can ask the boardroom to help them. After 9 months, they can go and talk to another board if they like. That's not compulsory. The first one is. It's just to help them, to make sure. It's actually, the startups told us that the most important thing about the boardroom is actually the things they need to do to get ready for the boardroom, because it really forces them to put some things on paper and to make some decisions, and they can talk about it with the board then at that time. After 1 year, they get an exit. After 1 year, we sit down with them and ask them, so how are things going, and can you afford your own place of business? If they can't, we won't kick them out because we want to help them, not force them to die. If they can, we'll help them to grow further. So we also offer free office space in 6 locations in Belgium. We've also started a Started hub in Budapest in Hungary. It started at KNH. And we also have KBC New York, who's putting up startups for us right now. But we also have a partnership with Belsham, so our startups can get to New York and San Francisco and work from there if they like. Our workshop is divided into several pillars, the most important ones for every startup. We have the funding, the lean startup way, everything the startups need to get about. We divide our academy into some categories because we take in all phases. So we have advanced workshops, but we also have workshops for beginners. If there's something missing in our academy, we gladly arrange it for our startups if they need it. So our ecosystem, and this is really, really important. This is the most important part of Started at KBC. Our ecosystem is huge. To use Donald Trump's words, is the best ecosystem you've ever seen. So it exists out of our mentors and coaches. And just like the previous presentation, our startups become mentors as well. It's our part, it's what we ask them to do is giving back. We offer everything for free, so the only thing we ask them to do is to give back to the community. So we have over 100 mentors and coaches who are available for every startup need. We have, of course, Started itself, our team, but also all our partners. We have experts. Most importantly, we have a PR expert who we actually pay to do the PR of our startups, which is a great help. But we also have experts in all kinds of things you need. And the largest bit, the startups themselves. Those are the biggest part of our ecosystem because they can really help each other. And of course, our Started fans, everyone who is interested in innovation, in startups, in Started, they're our fan, so they help us as well. What else do? We connect our startups to our partners, other corporates, so they can get their first customer. They can get huge projects, which really kickstart them. We let them join our membership to GAN. I don't know if anyone has ever heard about GAN, but it's the Global Accelerator Network. It's an international network of accelerators, and with the membership, we actually get an in accelerators around the world. Also related to this are a lot of perks. So like Microsoft, Google, Amazon Web Services, all those things, HubSpot, you name it, they all have serious discounts for members of GAN. We also organize a lot of events, which is always a good way to get our startups on stage. The most important events we do are our demo days. So we get startups in front of a 200, 300, 400 people crowd, full of investors, possible clients, things like that. And we train them to get on stage there. We make them tell their story. So who are our startups? So you all know the difference between a startup and a starter, I guess. So a startup is someone dealing with innovation, an innovative business model and scalable. We take in all startups, all industries, all phases. So you can see all industries. The most important industry we're covering right now is SME productivity, which is very, it's for Belgium. It's really obvious because we are a B2B market and we are too small to do B2C. But you can see like the third largest is food. So that's not technology, but it is innovation. All phases, so we have the ideation, the build, the go-to-market, and the scale-up. The scale-up is not that big, but that's pretty clear because we're only in business since 2014, which isn't that long. So the scale-up part will grow larger and larger as we continue moving on. As you can see, build, go-to-market, those are our specialties. And we also have a big chunk of startups that stopped, which does not mean that they failed. Sometimes making a startup stop is actually something good, because if you can convince them to stop what they're doing before they have like enormous debts, that's what we do as well. So enough about what we're doing. How do we follow up on those startups? We collect a lot of data. With that data, we can use that data to monitor our startups and to set our own KPIs. So our data collection is actually, there's a system behind it. So we use Survey Anyplace, which is a bit like SurveyMonkey, but it's one of our startups. So that's why we use it. We use Team Leader as well, a Belgian startup, and we use Camilio, which is also to visualize our data, which is also a startup from ours. What do? We send out surveys to our startups. I'm only talking about the data we collect from our startups right now because that's to the point, but we also collect data from our mentors and from our partners. But we're only discussing the startup part now. So after they've been selected, they get a survey, which they need to fill in. And that's actually to get some data on the team members. What's important, most importantly, the gender, date of birth, nationality, and contact details, of course. They also get to fill in a survey on the startup, which gives us some more background information on the startup and gives us some more information about their revenue stream, about their runway, about the finances, and things like that. During their stay, their 1-year stay within Started, they get to fill in a data survey twice, which gives us a lot of data to report on. After their stay, we don't let them go. So after they finished our program, we call them alumni, and we still involve them greatly into Started. So, and we keep track of them by letting them fill in a survey and by talking to them, of course, and inviting them to events. Now, how about the KPIs of the startups? Well, we do not feel that it is our place to set KPIs for our startups, since we have such a wide range of industry and phases. So instead, we monitor them, and we listen to them, and we give them the support they need based on their specific needs. So we adjust to what the startup needs. So how do we monitor them? Well, first of all, the surveys. Also, the roadmap we set out at the beginning. We track it with them and see if they can make their OKRs set in that. The boardroom is also a good way of monitoring. And we have one-on-ones with the community manager. So I'm a community manager of Startup. So I talk to each and every one of the startups that are based in my hubs. Also, the experts and the coaches that talk to the startups also fill us in so we can spot problems. Now, the KPIs of Started at KBC. Well, we are a non-profit organization, so we don't need a revenue stream. We do have a revenue stream, but it's separately from the incubation program we run for startups. So what are our KPIs? It's, well, our community needs to grow, which is obvious. We are definitely trying to boost female entrepreneurship. Our NPS, so instead of asking, hey, would you recommend Started to anyone else, yes or no? We ask them on a scale from 0 to 10, how likely would you recommend? So we have a real NPS score. The survival rate of the startups needs to be up more than 70%. And we are aiming to have an economic and social impact. I'm not going to go into the last one because that's something for next year. That's our 5-year anniversary next year. So we'll come up with some interesting things then. So community growth. Up until last year, we had 3 major inflows a year. So you can see we started in 2014 with 20-ish startups per wave. And as you can see, that has grown a lot. This year, we have decided to only do 2 intakes a year because the community has grown so much that we either need a team of 50 people to support it, or we have to cut back a bit on the amount of startups we take in. So if you visualize it, this is our growth curve. So we're still on schedule, and we're doing actually pretty well. At this time, we have around 550 startups in our program in Started. Female foundership. This is the current percentage of females within the program. As you can see, only 14% of the founders are female, which is way too less. We're getting to 30%, hopefully at the end of this year, and then we're trying to get to 50% at the end of 2019, which is quite a high KPI, but hey, there's all reason to dream. With regards to team members, we're doing a bit better. So the people that are hired in our startups are actually 1/4 of them is female, which is still too low, but it's better. Our NPS, it needs to be more than 55. Our NPS right now is 64. And just to make a comparison, the NPS of Apple is around 70. So it's a pretty decent score. I wasn't into NPS before I calculated it, but I'm happy with it, let's say it. Our survival rate at this time is 72.8%, which means that 72.8% of our startups didn't die. It's the same thing. Are they growing? Most of them are, some of them aren't. But they're not dead, which is pretty important. Outside of the incubator, the survival rate is 25%, inside 75%. So that's our main goal, to keep them alive. That's the most important thing. So that was everything I thought about telling you. Are there any questions you want to ask? Yes.
Hello. People company?
You mean my colleagues that started at KBC?
Yes.
There's 10 of us right now. We have 4 community managers, but we're looking to hire one more. We have a founder, so our CEO. We have a managing director. And then we have 4 people doing more administrative work. They call themselves creators of happiness, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And they do create happiness. Yeah.
Okay. And the second question, how much money cost your company in 2017?
Excuse me?
How much money cost your company in 2017?
I'm not really, it's a lot. So our main sponsor is KBC. And KBC actually pays for 8 of the 10 employees. So I'm actually paid by KBC to work for a startup. And they also give a working budget of, and I'm not sure, but it's a couple of €100,000 that we get to do this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a question related to your, let's say, incubator process, because it was a boot camp of just 1 week?
2 days. Boot camp of 2 days.
2 days.
After 1 week, they get a boot camp of 2 days. Yeah.
Right. And then you get to the boardroom for 3 months.
After 3 months, yeah. So after boot camp, they can settle into the hubs and to the local hubs if they like. Some of them already have office spaces, so they don't need to use the free office space. And the community managers keep track of them during those first 3 months.
Okay, so the acceleration place takes in parallel to that graphic you showed. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I understand. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Other questions?
How effective is the boardroom in separating the strong companies from the wannabes? Or like, let me phrase differently. Like, does the boardroom actually help in identifying those companies that would probably be dead or have stopped after 1 year? Or?
Yeah, it does. It does. So we've implemented a boardroom since last year. And during the first boardroom, there were out of, I think, the 40 startups that joined the boardroom, there were 5 startups that were kicked out, that got a no-go, that we needed to tell, please stop here because it's not going to work. You're going to spend a lot of money on this and you're not going to end anywhere. This year, after the boardroom, none of them got kicked out. We only have 1 startup that is without an ID right now because they used the first 3 months to go and test their ID on the market, and they found out it wasn't really that good of an ID. So they're looking for another one. So we told them, well, sit tight. We're not going to put any effort in you, but you can use the office space, you can use the workshops, talk to the other people. And within 3 months, we want to see you back with a business model. So that means 2 things. First of all, our selection criteria are becoming better. And second of all, the boardroom is actually doing its work because they can put wrongs to right during the boardroom, which gives them another chance to make something out of it. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to know how much the startups, if the startups pay, first of all, for the services and for the spaces you provide them. No.
They don't pay anything. So we are very much into telling our startups to bootstrap their business because we really want our startups to be in full charge of their business when they reach their go-to-market and when they actually need money to internationalize. So we try to help them as much as we can so they don't need to go and look for funding in an early stage and give away huge chunks of their company. So we're actually a form of bootstrapping. We help them bootstrap because we give lots of things for free, experts, expertises, office space, network events, you name it. All those things are for free for them, so to help them to bootstrap their business.
KBC is a financial institution. What is the motivation to support startups? What do you think? Is it to looking for future customers, to support them financing later, or give them credits or loans? Or what do you think? What is the main motivation to invest so much money in this program?
Yeah, at this time it's image building, because KBC really is an entrepreneurial bank. So it's purely image at that time. And it's a bit of CSR as well. So they really contribute to the community by doing this. In the long run, those startups will possibly become clients of KBC, and maybe, you know how it is, a startup, maybe 72% of them are living right now, but I don't know how many of them will become huge companies. So it's kind of like a gamble for a financial institution to say, well, let's put all our money in that and hopefully we'll earn a lot of money. So that's not really the deal with KBC. It's actually image building and CSR at this time. No.
Startups you told us about, they don't need to pay for your services, yes?
Yes, indeed. They don't need to pay. No. Our partners do pay. We have a lot of partnerships with legal firms, accountancy firms, a lot of firms that can offer a lot of expertise for our startups. They do pay, not a lot, but they do pay, which covers some of our costs. And then apart from this incubation program we have for startup, we also have a corporate incubation program, which is actually meant for corporate partners who want to do innovation and who want to put teams or project teams within our incubator, so we can help them set up their innovative project. And they do pay for our support.
More questions? If not, then thank you very much. It was a very thrilling presentation. Now it's time for us to leave this building and to go to campus Warsaw, which is a Google facility, and then we'll have an opportunity to visit their place. But if we can do it, maybe not rapidly, maybe not fast, but without hesitations, it would be fantastic. Yes, you can leave your things. We'll close the room afterwards.